Hello and welcome to TA for Traders. I'm Nigel Croft and it's Friday the 26th of May. Now this is the fourth video I've done today. I'll be covering 4 stocks, 2 in the US and 2 in the UK. In the US I'll be looking at DollarTree and General Motors. Both seem to be having bearish pictures on their charts. And in the UK I'll be looking at British Aerospace, which is a share that I've bought this week and is looking good, but I must tell you that I have bought the shares this week, and Sirius Minerals, where it's looking good. Perhaps it's not going to shoot imminently, but does look good for further upside progress shortly. Thank you. So starting in the US with DollarTree, came out with its earnings yesterday, and you can see that there was a big candle yesterday. It did recover and closed at 78.8, but really by moving down, the low of yesterday was below the lows that we saw on the 17th of April, and therefore there had been a short-term uptrend in place. That's now been broken. The RSI has broken down below 50 and negative momentum's in place. Given that the 200 and the 20-day moving averages are moving down, I would expect further downside pressure on DollarTree. You can see that the RSI is in a downtrend. You can see that the MACD is indicative as well of negative momentum, short-term below the upturn. Yesterday on the rally after the figures, it was very volatile yesterday. The 200-day and 20-day were both factors to the upside, and they will continue to be that whilst they're moving downwards. Yes, the 50-day is moving up, but that will start to roll quite quickly if these other moving averages push this stock lower. Key support seems to be around about here, 76.2, and then the 76 level. On the weekly, you can see that we are getting support from the rising 20-week moving average, but there is resistance from the downtrend in 50-week. It could be a flag, but there's no indication yet on this weekly which way we're going to break. The RSI is neutral. It's just gone below 50, 48.6. MACD are narrowing and will start to show negative momentum in the next couple of weeks. On the 4-hour chart, just looks mid-range actually at the moment. It's got downside pressure from the 20-hour and the 50-hour moving averages, but there is support from the 200. RSI back below 50 and the MACD about to crack down as well. So overall, the key chart was the daily, and certainly it looks like the downside pressure will continue. On the support to resistance levels, support, as I said, 76.5, actually goes down to 0.2, and then at 76, with resistance on the upside at the moving averages, the 200-day 80.21 and the 20-day at 80.77. Moving on to General Motors, they came under pressure yesterday. Looks like they're going to be investigated for fitting devices to affect the emission tests. The shares came off, did close above the lows, but just like DollarTree, the damage was done with the low. It confirmed this pattern of lower lows, also confirmed the pattern of lower highs. We're in a downtrend. We've got downside pressure coming from the 20-day moving average and from the 50-day, and you can see that the RSI is still below 50 and is moving lower, and that the MACD below 0 and the short term just moving below the long term. So it looks like the supports that we're seeing round about the 31 level will be tested on the daily. On the weekly chart, excuse me, you can see that the 200-week moving average is rolling down. That's going to start being a negative influence. That the RSI is in a severe downtrend, indicating negative momentum, as is the MACD. On the 4-hour chart, you can see the break to the downside. You can see the severe downtrend. Perhaps that was the lower boundary and we're bouncing up, but any further upside towards this 24-hour average and the 54-hour average, 33 to 33.5, will hit resistance and will confirm the downtrend. To break this downtrend, the index needs to move above 33.41, but really it needs to break these as well, so it's in the severe downtrend. RSI, again negative momentum, 39.74, and the short term just crossing the long term MACD, again a negative sign. On the support resistance levels, resistance at the 20-day and the 50-day, with support 31.92 and 30.85. Okay, moving on to more positive ground. So this is the last video I've done today. I did the dollar against the yen, that looked negative. I did WTI Brent, that looked negative, and I did the DAX, that looked negative. I've now done DollarTree, General Motors, they look negative. So let's have some positive to finish the week. So the first one is British Aerospace. I have bought the shares this week, please be aware of that. But what you can see is that we had this flag pattern that was broken. We've just had the 20-day go above the 50-day in a golden cross. The shares have just moved into new high ground. The RSI is indicative of positive momentum, is now at 65.8, and the MACD has just a couple of days ago started to flash a buy signal. So all the indicators on the daily are positive. On the weekly, sorry, I haven't made this one black. Usually I do. You can see we're broken into new high ground, and you can see the step pattern that we're having, which is a very bullish trend. Strong move up, flag, strong move up, flag, strong move up, flag, strong move up, and the rally could hopefully will continue further. RSI again above 50 and showing positive momentum, 65. Really, I'd want that to press on up during this rally on the weekly, and hopefully go above the 69 level. Otherwise, there may be a non-confirmation. And the MACD as well, slightly worrying that the short term's below the long term, showing perhaps negative momentum starting to come onto this weekly chart. Just keep an eye on that. On the 4-hour chart, there's a bad tick, so it's hard to show, but certainly the moving averages are all moving up. RSI indicating positive momentum, as is the MACD. Looking at the support resistance, we're in new high ground, so there's no resistance. On any consolidation, the 20 days moving up strongly at 641 spot 51 at the moment, and then the support 626.5. Finally, moving on to Sirius Minerals. I've looked at this previously, and I think it's quite an interesting chart at the moment. We're having this flag picture, and I think there's only one way it's going to break, and that will be to the upside. The moving averages, the 20-day and 50-day moving up strongly from when they crossed back in March. The 200-day is going sideways, but any push up will soon see that move back up. There's still some high levels from back here that they're in it, but they will be dropping off. In fact, I would guess that it's just dipped down to last couple of days. Maybe that's because of some dropping out here, some higher ones dropping out, but I would expect that to start moving up again quite soon. The RSI is indicative of positive momentum, 71.57, and the MACD, if it did spike to the upside, would soon flash a buy signal as momentum increases to that upside. So I would expect at some point a break to the upside. How far will we go? Well, the resistance levels are about 34 and then 39, so it could be a good move. Looking at the weekly, and you can see that we're bouncing off the 50-week moving average, and that perhaps on this there's this band of resistance at the 32 to 35 level. RSI again positive on this chart, as is the MACD. And finally, looking at the 4-hour, you can see that we're gaining support from the 24-hour moving average. That did cross the 50-day on the 17th of May in a positive direction, which is a golden cross, which is very positive. And here you can actually see a reverse head and shoulders, and we are breaking to the upside, which is a positive sign. So looking at the support resistance on Sirius, resistance at 34.45, and then the higher one, well, it starts 39, but 40.76 I put down, which was one of the key points. And then support 26.02 and 23.91. So that's been TA for traders, looking at 4 stocks on Friday the 26th of May. I hope you found this video of interest. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do click that button and subscribe. I'm coming out with almost daily videos. There won't be any on Monday. It's a bank holiday in the UK, and they don't call it bank holiday, but also it's a holiday in the US. So I'll be back on Tuesday. Please remember, these videos are not meant as an investment recommendation. They're just my opinions and are for educational purposes. To that end, please do read the disclaimer. Thank you.